If you've been following our content at Ops Lab, you know that we are financial first integrators. And it's something pretty unique about us. And the reason why we focused on it is because we know that the finance skill or finance understanding, financial acumen, is a pretty big gap for most integrators across the board. And I'm going to use the accountability chart as a way to demonstrate why this is. So you've got the basic accountability chart here. We see the integrator function, and typically integrators are appointed into the integrator function, especially when a company is new on its EOS journey. Quite often, an exercise the leadership team will go around while they clear everybody's names off of the board and just start building up the functions in the business, and then they start to identify who should sit in each seat. This journey might be familiar with you. And typically the person who is best at process, has been there the longest, has a lot of company background information, is usually somebody that we appoint into that seat. And quite often integrators come up through a couple of routes. They come up as they owned perhaps the operations function or at a key seat in the operations function. So they typically know pretty easily when things are on track or off track in operations. They may have even been part of building out some of the core processes that already exist in operations. Even if they didn't come up from an operations background, there's some pretty common operations indicators as to whether things are on track, off track. We often see on-time delivery being something that's measured. We see customer complaints. We see quality assurance issues, different things like that that will indicate whether something's on track or off track. And the integrator is usually pretty equipped to drop down and see what's going on in there. Similarly, an integrator might come up through sales and marketing, less common than what we typically see. But at the same time, working with whoever's going to be a core accountability of that sales and marketing function on some pretty well-known scorecard metrics will help them understand whether something's on track or off track. The big obvious one is, are we on track hitting our revenue objectives? If the answer is no to that, then peeling back the onion and finding out where and why. But ultimately understanding when something is going awry in sales and marketing is usually pretty transparent from the revenue side of things. Then we jump over here and we have finance. Very rarely does somebody in finance become an integrator. If you are one of those integrators who came up in finance, would love to have a conversation with you. But finance is usually one of those ones that's a bit less known, and integrators are typically less comfortable with finance. The first thing is they don't know what great looks like. So they don't understand how financials should even be structured, what a proper report package should look like, what a proper report cadence should look like. They're not able to challenge necessarily the month-end close processes and procedures. So that's a bit of a question mark for them. The integrator might get involved in the year-end process, but year-end and compliance is only one aspect of what finance should be doing for you. The other aspect that finance should be doing for you is really informing all of the rocks and quarterly or annual priorities, all of the quarterly rocks, all of the scorecard metrics, whether something is on track or off track next to a budget. All of these different aspects is something that is super critical that the integrator needs to know how to LMA. And if they don't, then quite often the priorities they're even working in operations and perhaps even sales and marketing are completely off track because they haven't understood the financial implications of the decisions they're making in the various aspects of the business. So it's one thing that we're here at Ops Lab we're here to solve. We do come from a financial first perspective. We want to understand first and foremost who's on the finance seat, who owns the finance function, who are the key players in finance, what are the core processes that already exist in finance, are they the right people in the right seats to improve those processes? Do they have the capacity to level up in finance? And are we able to get the information that we need from finance in order to make sure that we're running a fiscally responsible organization and that we also know the impact of the decisions we're making along the way through a financial lens? So super, super critical. Often that's something that's missed. If you feel like your integrator is underdeveloped in this skill set, let us know. We are here to help. One of the things that gives us the greatest joy is elevating full-time integrators, and this is one of the aspects that we do it. We really focus with them on understanding what it means to LMA the finance function in the business, as well as the other functions within the business.